to cut daisies and unicorns, and here we are on the Infinity Season 8, and we are on episode number 4. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. Yeah, we took a week off. Steve was on vacation.
Actually, I think I paid into my my purgatory account.
Purgatory.
Yeah, man.
There you go.
Yeah.
Chipping away at
Yeah.
all the stuff.
Anytime due in purgatory is there's different things. No, I had a great time in the Dominican Republic, and there's parts that I would say chipping away, when you travel.
Ugh.
So back, I got. If I say this is going to sound horrible. Absolutely
It's
horrible.
always a great preface.
Absolutely horrible. I got a buttload of vitamin D, and didn't even dip in the pool.
Wow.
Took my stuff to do that. This is actually the second year in a row I've not partaken in the effervescent infinity pool at the compound.
So you decided to sit and soak in the sun apart from the water.
Nope.
No,
Nope.
not even soaking in
Nope.
the sun.
Nope. When you're in the sun for your workday,
Oh,
yeah, the best thing you can do is rest and hydrate. And so I did that. I basically did a self-study on my interaction and socialization with people, since I pretty much live a hermit's life. And what I found is that I did pretty well.
Yeah.
Didn't create any anxiety. Now, we did have a smaller team than usual by about 50%. There's only 9 of us that went on this trip.
I kind of noticed when I saw the pictures. I'm like, that seems
Yeah.
much smaller.
Yeah. And I don't know what the critical mass of Bill said he's had teams as small as 7. So we were maybe a couple people right there. But, the next team that came in had 17. What I noticed is, and really when we got to the end of the work week, Bill was touting the part of, he's like, for a small team, we really, really got a lot accomplished. And I just wonder if, the larger the teams get, the less efficient,
Oh, right. So if somebody's like, all right, what do I do now?
Right. If we had more people, there would have been probably a team of 5 or 6 laying block in addition to all of the other stuff. But we poured foundation, and we poured, probably 60 feet of header beam. And so one of my video projects, since I didn't complete a video from last year, I'm actually going to take the footage from last year in comparison so that you can see the contrast for the team, so the team can see the contrast of from February 2022 to the end of our trip on 2023, what has been accomplished. But I mean, Lighthouse is killing it. I mean, these teams are killing it.
Wow.
Coming in. It sounds like we're going to fundraise. It'll take $40,000 to $50,000 to be able to put you could call it the second floor, or you can call it the first floor's roof, on the hospital, it's not a hospital. It's a emergency care facility.
Or like a clinic almost, yeah.
Just about. They're going to have an ambulance to be able to, that in cases where people need to be moved to the hospital, people can be brought there and stabilized, and then the vehicle, I don't know if it'll be a true ambulance but that would be Christian's specialty, is he would be working with a different group to fundraise for an ambulance or that vehicle. And then basically he appealed to Project 52 to be able to cover the cost of what it means to put the roof on. So funds are in place for, my guess is flooring usually waits to go in until the roof part, first section, is on, like they did the roof over in the educational section. They've really bought up a bunch of land through this over the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Stuff that when Mike and Michaela and I went on a trip together, I think that was in 2018, February of 2018, or maybe 2017 even. Like we were walking through mud puddles in this space that's now being developed as the emergency care facility. And so, but good things. And in contrast, this is kind of cool, like the national water supplier or the main group that supplies water in the big 5-gallon blue jugs.
Yeah.
They charge $2.50 American, which, we can do the pesos translation, but we won't. And they that's like there's delivery trucks going everywhere and people can buy that water.
Yeah.
The water that's being done in Villa Altagracia is for people to be able to buy there in the village is being sold 5 gallons for 20 cents.
Oh.
So substantial savings, and the move of Lighthouse and what they think about in going into an area is clean drinking water is a huge necessity.
Yeah.
For controlling the simplest of diseases. And so, and I think before this all started with this progression, over 80% of the homes there, dirt floors.
No.
So when rainy season, their homes are being flooded, turn into mud.
Yeah.
The overflow from, there aren't bathrooms, there aren't dugout bathrooms, and so the waste is then being carried as the water comes down, and it's being carried through and cross contamination and things like that. And so the first things first, and so the cool thing is the people who work at the water facility are right from that village. So it's a hand up and a help. Because then they're bringing revenue to these families to be able to raise their standard of living. And there's and a lot of partnership. A lot of times too that the Russell Water will Christian goes out and talks to pastors, and then they set it up, and then it's set up so that the drop-offs are at the church. And the pastors can collect the money for the water, and then there's a portion of the proceeds from the water that goes to the church to be able to help the church out in those situations. Took some pictures and actually some stuff I'm really, really excited about. But until I get through the edits, I'm not going to share, but I am working on getting the edits done this week. So yeah. I tell you what.
It's a lot of work.
Lightroom. Oh, dude, I started on Tuesday spending 2 hours a night working on stuff. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night. So I probably got 10 hours into editing. And yeah, I got a good chunk done, but it's still, there's probably another 10 hours easily editing pictures, and then I took video, and I'll be excited to put that video together because I think the idea is a good one, and hopefully then people can take a look and see what that's all about. But yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, so back in Chicagoland, feeling good about all of the sunshine and the other thing was laugh therapy.
Yeah.
The group that I was with may be considered crude. But oh my gosh, there were some funny people on there. So a lot of laugh therapy, which is good for you. Gets,
It's true.
And it wasn't like, well,
laughter is good medicine.
If you're not laughing, you're crying. That wasn't the kind of laughter. Yeah. So. So did I miss anything? Apparently, I'm not sure when that whole weather balloon. I think that happened the week before I left, though.
Was it?
I think so. That Chinese weather balloon.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably traveling for a little while, but of course, then they wouldn't shoot it down until it was above water. Because apparently, the balloon itself was like 3 bus. The size of it was 3 buses. So, I mean, it's not like it was a small, and that's the reason why I'm also considering, this Chinese weather balloon, or spy balloon, as they would call, is like they really weren't trying to hide it. I mean, because if you're looking at, a spy balloon, you would think, spy means concealing. Let's figure out a way to make this inconspicuous. And it obviously was not inconspicuous. So, it wasn't really, I mean, to me, it's always what we always bring up when we talk about, the thing. There's always a thing behind the thing.
Yeah.
There's always a distraction that's being caused. What's happening actually behind this? That's the real question. And I think that's the same thing that was probably happening with this spy balloon. But then, of course, when the spy balloon comes across, and then they finally shoot it down, over the Atlantic Ocean,
mm-hmm.
and then it's anything that's in the sky now has become, what is it that's up there now? And then there was a string of lights over here, and there's this thing over here, and we're always now speculating. I mean, are these now Chinese, more spy balloons? And no, and then some people are like, oh, these are now the aliens that are now following. And I mean, did you see any aliens in the last 2 weeks?
Well, the short answer is not that I know of. I had a really weird dream last night. It was very vivid.
Yeah.
And I don't know if what may have happened is I may have been abducted. Off of my couch in my living room.
Yeah.
Taken into a UFO. And then had my brain tapped by aliens.
Yeah.
And that they were going through a videography of my compilation of life. I mean, this dream was super, super weird.
Yeah.
In that the it always cracks me up because Rupke always hey, you were a cameo in my dream the other night. A cameo. And not an active participant, but you made a cameo appearance,
You popped up.
Yep.
Hey, hi.
And but yeah, I was set in this town where my family and I went to church during my formative years, and Cass City, Michigan. And so, it was familiar, vivid to, I recognized the streets, But then I had just gotten done. This is hilarious. Amy and I are watching through Magnum PI. Tom Selleck.
Right.
In his younger years. Long-legged, hairy-chested, short-wearing Tom Selleck.
With that mustache.
With the mustache.
Mustache.
And so, I watched Tom Selleck, and there was this military espionage blow up this guy by the Irish National Army, and so that, and then I watched a couple episodes of Longmire. So now I got this cowboy chasing espionage dream going on where we're being chased down, and I'm telling people, and it's people from the youth group, which would make sense in the context because of the town, and that's where we grew up, and I had good friends in the youth group, and so then all of that was thing, and then all of a sudden I was buying like this antique Jeep. So weird.
It is weird.
And I was making a deal.
Yeah.
And so I got this guy, I don't remember who it was I bought this Jeep, but it was like an old Willys style of Jeep, but in my dream it looked like a Humvee.
Yeah.
And so then, but I was wheeling and dealing, and then my truck came up in the dream, and I'm like, well, and somebody was like, I can't believe you actually paid money for this thing. And I'm like, well, yeah, but you got to be able to have the vision to see where this thing's going, you know. And
right.
And then my son-in-law Adam showed up in the dream. In his Adam-like sense of humor. It was hilarious. And so then I think that has to do with that I watched the whole season 15 of Bering Sea Gold. And like, I think we were traveling around in a similar contraption of a four-wheeler, but we were avoiding and being chased. And so the only way I can boil this down to how in the world did this happen is I think the aliens gave me some LSD and then like tapped into my brain to be able to get vital information of like seeing where I've come from, the things that I've been involved in, and, you know, what they can anticipate from me in the future.
Wow. So it's possible.
Possible alien abduction.
Yeah.
Now, for the record, if you're listening to this, I do not believe a single word I just said.
Oh, man. But that dream was real. I mean, like that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I only believe 1% of anything that I just said because the dream was legit.
Yeah.
I said something to somebody the other day, and I just came across just deadpan, and I'm like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, really? I'm like, nope. And everybody around was just dying. It's like hook, line, and sinker. Yeah.
Yep.
So how do you know what your reality holds is really real? Well, it depends on the reality you want to live out.
It's true.
Some people, you know, have difficulties with denial. Other people have difficulties with reality.
Yep.
I.e., movie from the 80s, Reality Bites. Which we know a band called Reality Bites.
We do.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Which Ted Nugent's distant cousin, John.
Right.
He plays guitar in that group. Does he sing a little bit too?
He does.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, they give him a mic.
I like John's voice. John doesn't necessarily like his voice, but yeah, so.
Yeah. No, but Wally likes to sing too, so.
Wally's got a nice voice too.
I mean, it's fine on the backup. Like, he's definitely would not be, like, he would not carry it, but he could be backup.
Okay.
That's where I would say is a fair assessment.
All right, well, that's fair.
Yeah. If he's trying to carry, it's probably going to be it's not going to be, like, the best. But.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that Reality Bites does 90s alternative, which is where my jam is. That's where my sweet spot. I mean, I know their whole discography because of that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, overall, good things that came out of. I know I'm flashing back to the Dominican trip.
Yeah, we'll circle back around.
Yeah, was that I'm thinking I might get a dog. In reflection, Gypsy brought a lot of quality of life into my life of isolation, and so I put it out there. And Amy was like, "You gonna go down to the rescue and get a puppy?" And I said, "Not this week." And I said, "Actually, I'm gonna time it. So like maybe beginning of May, end of May, and then that gives me all summer if we have potty training issues and stuff and things." But yeah, and then I may just flat out go full on puppy. Kind of had my eye on some hypoallergenic breeds.
I enjoy those.
Yeah. And so thinking about that, the other thing is that I consider last week the beginning of my new start of playing guitar. Got my fingers, in some shape, and when I pulled my guitar, this is how bad it's been about me not playing. Literally, the guitar that I pulled out of the case that I traveled with last year, still had its strings loose from being on the airplane from last year.
Oh man!
And this is a guitar that I leave in the studio. So if I want to play guitar, then which I should, but I haven't been.
Yeah.
And so, but man, when I picked up the guitar and I started playing, I'm like, oh, you know what? I've missed this. And so, yeah, I've got that. I have a media change of life plan where, any day that is a work day, I'm going to shift my media from television shows to informational podcasts and or music. And I think that's going to be an upgrade. I think the TV part can be too distracting, and I can take in other information and stuff.
Sure.
So, but yeah, I also, in moving through, realized, and this is a conversation on ego. But I've spent a lot of years of my life performing. And when I perform, I really enjoy it. But I haven't been performing for about 2.5 years, like consistently.
Yeah.
So, I already had started reworking a library. What I know is I don't want to perform the same stuff I was performing 5, 7, 10 years ago.
Right.
And so gonna update into some they're probably older stuff, but just listening and update the performance for folk karaoke. That's just when you're not doing your own stuff, it doesn't matter who you are. They say, as like the big bands, oh, they do a cover of. No, they're doing karaoke. Let's just boil this down. They're doing karaoke. They're covering, which is karaoke.
Right.
So anyway, but yeah, so I'm gonna be looking at doing research on. I'm just gonna start it out with going to some open mics, and I think open mics will put me in the situation for networking with other musicians. And then as I meet other musicians, then I will look at seeing what venues are hiring or bringing people in that do the kind of stuff that I do.
Yeah.
And my little buddy, who's a really wonderful gentleman, Andrew Drugsma, he got his stuff put together, and he's on a site that does contacts, and he's a booking genius. I mean, he was telling me, he's like, to book gigs, but once he got in and started doing so there, and I'd like to play some wineries, some breweries, some, but I gotta find it, and it may not be in my locale, but. And I did tell Amy, I'm not looking to play 8 gigs a month, but
right.
if I could be out twice a month, for one day, and if I could balance that with, I would take in the middle of the week stuff because then it doesn't chew up my weekend.
Sure.
Yeah. So, yeah, update on Steve-O's life.
There you go.
Yeah. But then I just have to, but I feel like, you know, my work day started today at 6:30 and, you know, got lots done. And so, yeah. Now back to aliens. So the alien abduction that occurred, hashtag, this is a different reality that's not real. Although, in this fantasy life, it's really interesting. And if you ask me what the aliens look like, I really didn't see aliens. That's why I'm saying, not to my knowledge did I see any aliens, but I may have been abducted.
Yeah, so you're looking at the plane of the kind of the movie of like things that have been, you know, like life stuff popping up through there.
Why in the world would my mind bring up a town that I haven't driven through in over 15 years?
Yeah, why would it come up?
I mean, why would there be one person from my high school involved in this, which I literally may have had 3 conversations with all through high school?
Wow. Yeah, that's weird.
I understand the part of, you know, and I don't really think, I think the only thing that would bring up youth group is that we had our board meeting last night, and it was mentioned in the notes that Heather and Pastor Walter are thinking about starting a youth group. Like, see that seed plant?
Right.
That would play in. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder what my dreams are. Like, I always think, like, oh, like, I mean, all these people talking about their dreams. I'm like, I have no recollection of any dream. I mean, I think that I remember some throughout life that I've had. Like, oh, I remember when I was a kid and I had a dream. But, you know, like, I don't have them, you know, and I mean, that I know of. I obviously, I think, go through some kind of REM sleep in order to be in a dream state. I just am not one that remembers what happens in there. So
yeah,
there it is. But it's always fun to listen to them because some of the dreams are like, hey, you know, so this person made a cameo and this person was in there, and like, well, that's weird. Why would they be in there? You know, so those are the questions that arise. But, yeah, so is that what alien abduction looks like? No probing that you know of. No marks on your body that...
Well, I mean, I haven't done, like, a personal, like, you know, like, inventory.
Evaluation?
No, like, I haven't even, like, I mean, I washed my hair, but it wasn't until I was here that it actually dawned on me that the possibility of being abducted by aliens may have occurred. Now, what I'd really like to know is, are aliens or are they sentient beings? So, because I wonder how they got me out of my house without having a key to my house. But I have been known to sleepwalk.
You have.
Oh yeah, that's a real thing. We moved into our new place.
Yeah.
And Amy said to me the next day, she's like, "So did you get to where you were going?" I'm like, "Where was I going?" She goes, "I don't know, but you had the door unlocked and open, and you said, 'I gotta go get something. I'll be right back.'" And she said, "No, Steve. No,
Steve.
no, you're not going to go anywhere. It's time for you to sleep." She said, and you came back over to the couch and sat down and fell back asleep. I'm like, fell back asleep or never really woke up? Yeah, so.
Yep. I also have had moments of sleepwalking, but I don't know if I've done it in a while. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. But who knows?
Well, I see an interesting thing here on Insider. The
Yeah.
UFO shoot downs show the hardest part of discovering alien life may be announcing it. Here's how NASA might break the news. So NASA isn't announcing the existence of extraterrestrial life, but if the last 2 weeks show anything, it's if the agency ever breaks such news, the world may have trouble understanding.
Yeah.
Unidentified anomalous phenomenon, or UAPs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this one was, so it was February 4th was the shooting down of the Chinese balloon. So that was, you were still here. So that was prior to your trip. So, yeah. And then,
by Sunday, U.S. fighter jets had gunned down 3 more mysterious objects in skies over Alaska, Canada, and Lake Huron. Lake Huron's over where I grew up by. So maybe, that could be a connection to my abduction.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that most of the people that are reporting on these things are still saying, like, we could call it a UFO or UAP and still not believe that there's, as they call them, little green people that are, manning the flight.
Wow.
So I still, it goes back to my skepticism on the UAPs or UFOs, that these are actually from another place, universe, planet. That this would be more of like, there's people who are messing with technology that don't want to let that out. And that would go back to I think it was like our first foray into the UAP, UFO conversation. I don't remember which. It must be season 1 that I mentioned. Like we should be further along in technology than we are, and I think these things give us insight into just how far along we actually are, that we're not trying to let everybody know about. Whether it's us or whether it's other foreign governments, we know that there's probably going to be technology that's much more advanced than where we are. And so we have to start thinking about, when you're seeing or hearing a report on a UFO, UAP, that we can say, all right, so what is this really about? So, there are thousands of unconfirmed UAP sightings by the public every year. So we know that thousands of these things happen. Strings of lights, or, lights that zip through the sky. So if we know that there are thousands of these that occur, a small percentage of them could be something that's a little bit more advanced.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, but of course our government is trying to, I think, play into the, this a little bit when they funded a, UAP department. We'll study these things and get back to you. Like, okay.
Yeah. I don't believe them.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, so I still remember, I don't know if you ever saw like the Phoenix lights, if you Googled it and just, typed in the Phoenix lights.
Yeah.
There were, this was, I don't know, this probably would have been like somewhere late 90s, early 2000s. And So and it goes back to, I mean, that they, still were like, oh, like there were these mysterious, and then I talked to it was another teacher, of friend of Heather's, and he said he used to do with these groups these weather balloons that, I mean, that they would put in the sky, and it was like, and then people were like, oh, these are unidentified. Well, yes. And he would be like, yes, they're a balloon that they would throw. They would be, I mean, bigger balloons, but then they would throw a whole bunch of, what are those, glow sticks?
Yeah.
Into the balloon.
Oh my gosh.
So it would glow. And so then at night, when you're letting these glow stick balloons into the sky, people are like, what is it?
Yeah.
So so that's also what, I mean, like, I know that there's people out there who are also doing this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And why not?
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot. Actually, Phoenix Lights is also a band, obviously post the Phoenix Lights. Wow. Apparently, it's a big mystery.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So, I mean, this article concludes by saying whether these future UAPs are balloons, secret technology, or something else, there will continue to be greater national focus on studying UAPs and an increasing ability to detect them. It is likely the reports continue to pour in, and U.S. aircraft will keep tracking them down. So, like, they're like, hey, don't worry, we're protected. I'm like, and yet, like, we still had this Chinese spy balloon that was flying across the country, zeroing in our communications, and you still waited till it went through the entire United States before you could shoot it down.
Which I don't understand why they waited.
Yeah. I think that they were worried about what the destruction would look like. If they shot it down, what are the pieces going to look like if it lands on somebody's house?
Yeah.
Because it was so big.
Was there also even a question or a doubt, like if there was radioactive material and they shot it down and it was,
Yeah, I think that they were like, we don't know exactly what it's going to look like when we shoot it down. What's the destruction going to look like once we do that? And I think that's why they played it out over water instead of over land.
Yeah.
So, Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of reports in, January of this year. So this was even before the Chinese spy balloon that was going on. But there's been, but again, going back to that report that I just shared, there's thousands that are going on every year. Like, it's not a matter of if the reports are happening, it's whether or not they're reported on.
Yeah.
So people are saying, hey, there's strange lights in the sky. And we're like, cool. But because of all of the attention, because of the Chinese spy balloon, because of the other lights, now it gets more reporting. Now it's going to gain traction on the zeitgeist of the culture. People are grabbing a hold of it and saying, ooh, let's talk about UAPs, let's talk about UFOs. And we really want to see little green men with funny shaped heads and big eyes.
Yeah. If you want to laugh about alien abduction, the SNL skits on the alien abduction are just hilarious. I love, that's a go-to. I can chuckle every time I watch that on YouTube.
Yeah.
How about any other, have you seen a Bigfoot lately?
I have not.
How about sharks swimming in the Chicago River?
I have not heard of any.
Okay. All right. Just checking in, some of the major things that could happen.
Yeah. I mean, I think that as far as like that side of, there's to me the unnatural phenomenon, but then you get into some of the natural phenomenon, there's constant, like Turkey area had another earthquake 6.3 on top of the stuff that they're dealing with right now. What I would say, the earth is pissed off. It's like, I'm unhappy, and I'm going to show you how unhappy I am.
Yeah.
So as far as like switching that to the other side of like, I think that things are happening in that area, like with the earth, and like there's some unhappiness going on. Which I don't know. Is it an extension of like our unhappiness and our kind of disjointed, people, that it's kind of then playing out also in a natural creation sense? I don't know.
Well, and then that moves into nature nurture, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
Because is it really that it's the unhappiness, unwellness of humanity influencing the earth, or is it the unhappiness, unhealthiness of the earth that is moving into people? Which is the energy that is making an impact on which object? I would personally have a tendency to believe, this is my humble opinion, and I do believe what I'm going to say.
Just a good preface right there.
That the energy of the earth is greater than humanity. So that's what I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe, gosh, there's so much that can be picked up in regards to the ancient civilizations and how there was such great regard for the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And how, as we've moved into a consumerism culture, and what and who's it all about, I can't believe some of these people and some of the stuff. I'm just like, it's incomprehensible to me.
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to watch a documentary series on Netflix about the Gulf.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it'll be really interesting based on the new Gulf whole thing and everything that went down with people who could and couldn't play on the Pro Tour because they were a part of this group in Saudi Arabia and blah, 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 blah.
Is that the Live group, LIV or whatever?
Yeah. But some of the scape of what was shown in the preview on that was just kind of blowing me away.
Is that the one that's called Full Swing?
I think so.
Okay. I was thinking I saw
a
couple of things about it.
Yeah. Apparently, when it comes to sharks, there actually has been a shark.
Like freshwater shark in the lakes?
Bull sharks have made their way up the Illinois River and into Lake Michigan, such as an encounter off the coast of Chicago, Illinois.
What do you know?
Reportedly, it took place.
Oh, so they don't have, like, documentation.
Rescuer John Adler, who hauled the boy minus most of his right leg into a boat, said, "I just couldn't believe it, but I had to believe what I saw happening right before my eyes. It was indeed a shark bite."
But also no documentation?
Well, it says injury, right leg lacerated, fatal according to one source. If this incident actually happened, it involved a bull shark. They have the ability to survive in fresh water because their livers take in salt water and can distill.
So it's their bodies have evolved to a place to be able to process both salt water and fresh water. Is that?
Yeah. Huh. Interesting. I mean, I just keep asking questions I don't know the answers to.
I mean, that's kind of what we've established here, right?
Yeah. So then March 21st, 2022, there's 26 beaches and no sharks. Welcoming back travelers. Are there piranhas in Lake Michigan? No, I don't think so. And the answer is no.
No. They would be more Amazon, right? There's piranhas in the Amazon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what is the biggest predator in Lake Michigan?
Ah.
The invasive sea lamprey. Primarily feeding on lake trout.
Yeah, but not on people.
No. What is the apex predator? Chinook salmon.
Huh. I guess I wouldn't consider a salmon an apex predator, but maybe I guess apex in the lake. I don't know. Would you consider them an apex predator?
Well, I mean, basically they're eating on other fish, right?
Yeah.
Are there alligators in the Great Lakes? Here's the lead sentence. Alligators are rarely found in the Great Lakes. It's just too cold in the north for them to survive, is what they're saying.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Because then you're considering the where you see most of the alligators would be down south, right? Florida, Louisiana, Mississippi, down in there. Gulf area too.
Yeah. Yeah. Lake Michigan is, it's a... Yeah, I mean, like ABC 7 Chicago, this is posted... Oh, well, this is on Facebook.com, but it does have the check mark.
That it's verified.
Dead along riverbanks. And there's a picture. Wow. I don't know what to believe. Now it makes me wonder if I'm going swimming this year.
Well, it seems like for a majority of it that the lake, I mean, it doesn't have predators that are hunting human.
Yeah.
There are fish that are eating fish or some kind of, whatever. But like if you go and put your, go and body surf or something, it doesn't seem like they're going to be after you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was the Chance the Snapper. You remember that? They found that one in Humboldt Park.
No.
Oh, that might have been, it was probably, it was before you got here, but.
Somebody released a snapper?
Yeah. And so then they got it, and they were trying to capture it so that they could relocate it. And so there was a whole, pursuit, and then they brought, some professionals in, from down south to come and, capture this, snapper.
Well, now hold it.
Mm-hmm.
When I put in snapper in Humboldt Park, it was an alligator.
Oh, it was an alligator. Oh.
Chance the Snapper,
Yeah.
Chicago's Humboldt Park alligator, July 2020. Chance the Snapper is a 4 to 5 foot long alligator that was found swimming in Humboldt Park Lagoon, Chicago, Illinois.
Yeah. So, alligator versus crocodile. Alligators are a darker blackish gray in color, while crocodiles are a lighter olive green or brown color. Alligators have a wider U-shaped snout, while crocodiles have a pointier V-shaped snout. But what about where they reside? Because isn't there something like there's certain, like, it was almost like alligators are here, but crocodiles aren't. I don't know. I know that the zoo has a bunch of different, alligators and crocodiles. But I was thinking for their actual places of origin.
This is hilarious. People are making fun of Chicago. Man, this is on clickbait. Man beginning to wonder if he saved broken chair for dibs for nothing.
Sounds about right.
All right. Okay, so we got all this wildlife misplaced.
Yeah.
Mother Earth is tired of giving birth.
Yeah. And then you wonder, like, when does the earth just give up? Or just say, let's just start over again.
So, if someone's a serial killer, does it mean that it's a secret until they're found? Or when they're found, they are a serial killer as well? And could Mother Earth be a serial killer if she takes out all of humanity?
It's a good question.
Or is it justified?
So then you're looking at either serial killer or mass murderer, which I think,
That's two different things, right?
Right, yeah. But if it's a mass murderer that's serial, then what do you call it? So, because mass murders are like, here's an instance of a mass murder, right? Multiple people are killed right here.
Yeah.
So, earthquake. That's up to, 37,000 or something over there in Turkey, Syria. But if it happens again and again and again, isn't that serial? So you get serial mass murderers. So then is the earth an actual serial mass murder?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Great question.
And can they be charged as such?
Well, I'm pretty sure that she's, how are you going to bring up the earth on charges?
Right.
Yeah.
Suspect.
And then again, it cracks me up because then in theory, what's going on is humanity is bringing the earth up on charges. And the real question is, what authority does man have over the earth?
Yeah. And so if you look back theologically, right,
Yeah.
there's a lot of connection to, like, humanity has dominion over, right? But then you also take it out of and say, all right, so, but what if creation has dominion over everything else? Because it can't be controlled. Like, we try to do what we can to control the weather, control this, control that. We want to predict, we want to do that. And we think then that there's a sense of control there. But how much do we actually have control? And to me, I think you can take that word dominion and also completely kind of, redefine it so it sounds like you can do whatever you want to it.
Huh.
So if we, as humanity, have dominion over the earth, then we can do whatever we want to it. So we can trash it and say, yeah, like, we're in charge. We get to do what we want. But I think when you look at dominion and when you try to be able to dig into where that comes from, you're actually saying more like we are called to be caretakers.
Yeah.
So if you're seeing that from the theological aspect and saying we're supposed to be caring for a place that we haven't been caring for, like that's an issue. That's a problem. And we should be able to say, hey, let's call for an understanding amongst humanity that we haven't done the job well, and let's try to be able to figure out what we can do to correct.
Yeah.
And many of where we would call, climate change scientists would say it's too late for that. Like, we can try to be able to chip away at this, but there's many of them are like, it's like we have gone too far.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's other people like, oh, that's silliness. Like, I mean, you say, what was it? What's his name? Al Gore, who invented the internet.
Yeah.
I mean, he put out that inconvenient truth in the late 90s that said we have like 10 years left before and that's kind of hit, and, we're past that. And so I think people become less, they become sensitized, to any other article or thought that comes out that says this is a problem and we need to adjust and we need to correct. And people are like, oh yeah, but that one guy said something like, and it didn't happen, so therefore it's probably all junk. So I don't know. I mean, those are my thoughts about the origin of and trying to be able to sort out this whole rumbling that occurs within creation.
Yeah.
Things happening around us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
There is a lot.
And if people want to be entertained,
Mm-hmm.
And I believe it is on TikTok, Time Traveler 3000. Apparently,
Yeah.
giving lots of information out of what's going to come because they've time traveled.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that there was and there's apparently multiple time traveler TikTok accounts.
Yeah.
The one that I saw was like, something's going to happen February 13th, which was like Super Bowl. Like, and it's going to be significant. And of course, I think there were like lights in the sky. And I'm like, yeah, to me, lights in the sky is not a significant news, like update.
Yeah.
Like, that's not significant. Like, it didn't change my world. Like, it seemed like your original report on here was saying, like, this is going to be a significant event for the world. And I'm like, not significant. I mean, and I also don't believe the Super Bowl is the significant event either. Like, because we've had how many of these? 56 of them prior to this. 57 was this past Super Bowl. Like, it's not significant when it's become the norm.
A reoccurring event.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure if you're a Kansas City Chief fan, of course, like, it was significant for you.
Yeah.
Everyone else, it was like, okay, we've done this 56 other times. Not significant.
Right.
So, yeah. So these time traveler people, I think they like to throw. I mean, it's almost like what was the one guy that they always quote? He's like a guy in the past, and they always say like Nicodemus. No, where am I not? But they always quote him like saying, "Oh, like he's already predicted this in the past."
Oh,
and
Nostradamus?
Nostradamus.
Yeah,
yes.
Nostradamus.
Yeah.
Nostra.
Right. Cosa Nostra.
Dama. Time traveler from 2906 claims zombie pig will escape lab and spread virus this year.
Ooh, zombie pig.
Zombie pig.
It sounds like South Park. Man, bear, pig. Have you? Seen
I
the
have.
South Park,
You know
Man, Bear,
what?
Pig?
I have not.
Oh, it was kind of a thread because, and I think it was more of a commentary because they brought in. This was Al Gore was a part of this, and he came out and was talking about the sightings of Man, Bear, Pig, and everyone was like just laughing at him because he's bringing up, and I think it was the climate change conversation. Like he brings up this concept of climate change, and everybody just laughs and is like, "Yeah, well, that didn't happen." And then you kind of see like something that pops up now where you're like, "This is an issue. Everybody sees it."
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Yeah, look, I was right." So they use Man, Bear, Pig in South Park, and now it's become they've a couple of seasons then go by, and then all of a sudden they drop a Man, Bear, Pig reference in, and and it's this creature that's a mix of man and a bear and a pig.
Really? They actually used those?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, Bear, Pig. For those of you who watch South Park, you probably already know.
Yeah.
So, good times.
Woman 29 has daily encounters with aliens after first UFO sighting visit during lockdown.
Oh, that's good. So they do a regular visit to her.
Yeah. I mean, like, how Lily Nova.
So now they're friends, apparently.
Yeah. From Missouri.
I wonder what she can verify.
Well, they've approached her in all manner of spacecraft, including metallic ships, triangles, and orbs that move in an quote-unquote unearthly way, she exclaims. Wow.
Well, I mean, it would make sense if she believed that it was aliens, that it would be unearthly. But there's always like like, "Hey, can you grab us some evidence of this?" And they're like, "Oh, well, I wasn't allowed to." Okay.
She says that they've chosen to visit her because she is open-minded and welcoming towards them. I'm not closed-minded and actually have put in my request.
Yeah, multiple times now.
Yeah.
So I don't think that that's a good qualifier.
Huh.
Like, "Hey, yeah, I'm open to it." Well, I think there's a lot of people who are open to it, and not a lot of them are still saying, "Yeah, they come to me on a regular basis."
She also believes that they send images of themselves to her through telepathy, thinking that they are easing her into the introduction, as it would be such a shocking experience for any human to have an alien walk up to you.
All right. So is she drawn them from telepathy then? Like, she
thinks that they gave her some space to process the experience before appearing to her again.
Oh. So these are thoughtful aliens. Good job, aliens. Just easing people in. Give it to them slowly.
She abandoned her career as a nutritionist because it was overtaken by my passion for finding out more about UFOs and aliens. It is not something I ever expected to happen.
Wonder if she knows Tom DeLonge.
So now she's focusing on spreading awareness of what she's found.
Good for you.
And she's developing a sixth sense an intuitive gut feeling for when they are going to appear to her, which seems
course.
like she would be able to turn on a camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or already have cameras posted but I'm sure, because based on other stories, like they're like, oh, well, there was some magnetic interference, and so therefore the cameras didn't work.
Yeah.
Always a story. Give us something else.
All right. Well, that's about as far as the mirror takes me today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how about you, listener? How are you doing?
Yeah.
Have you been visited by aliens?
Did any of you, catch any of these mysterious lights in the sky? Have there been any reports in your area of strange sightings? Who knows? Report back.
Who knows?
Yeah. Have you been speaking in color?
Eno's his first name.
Enos. Enos. That would be a good alien name. When you meet your alien, call him Eno. But it also sounds like the St. Louis pizza Emos, which, in my humble opinion, is disgusting.
That's funny.
Have you ever had Emo's pizza?
No.
Any St. Louis style?
Mm-mm.
They use a different cheese on it that is probably more like the consistency of like nacho cheese, like the consistency, not the taste. And I'm like, I don't think, I mean, I like nacho cheese on, guess what? Nachos.
Right? It's so true.
Right. I don't want it on my pizza. So there are people who do love this St. Louis style pizza, which, yeah, it's okay if you're wrong. It's fine. Accept that. Receive it. Oh boy. Yeah. So what are the things that you are experiencing in your sphere?
Your orb.
Your orbs. Get any orbs out there? Any mysterious...
In your orb of influence? Bright lights, big city.
Bright lights in big city. Big city living, everybody. Big city living, which is, it's hard to see things in the sky in the bright city.
Yeah.
City lights, we've got lots of light pollution, so we don't get to see the stars often. We don't get to observe the things that are in the sky like some people that don't have light pollution.
Or, as the songwriter said, when the lights go down in the city.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. The problem is that the lights never go down in our city.
Right.
If they did, it would probably be, you could see more, but...
Like Seymour Hoffman?
Or see more butts. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's where we're at today. See more butts.
That's how this went down.
Also a reference to the 3 that have been shot down, right? Good job bringing that in. That's how it went down. It did go down.
Did it go down?
I don't know. Apparently, somebody's saying it went down. I saw somebody talk to a pilot about the Earth being flat, and they're like, "Yeah, of course the Earth's flat." Like, so you get there's a pilot of and I didn't see which airline it was, but they're like, "Oh yeah, like I've flown, for 30 years, and I know that the Earth is flat." Like, okay. So because you fly on a horizon, you're gonna also instruct us that the Earth is flat. Okay, thanks, pilot. Yeah, so lots of craziness going on. Lots of people who see things and then want to interject and say, guess what? This is my reality now. I'm going to say the earth is flat and there's aliens. Okay.
Wow.
And just so you know, I don't believe in either one of those.
Well, there you have it, folks.
There we have it. Alien sightings, everybody. So, where are we wrapping this up? Where are we landing the spacecraft today, Steve? Where are we landing this guy right
Well,
here?
you know, I mean, since we have the ability to go anywhere we want to go, I would like to softly land the spacecraft. Just about 80 yards off of the coast of Illinois and Lake Michigan.
Yeah.
Take a little tumble float. Let the swells lift us up and bring us down. You know, just the gentle rocking of the ebb and the flow. That's where I'm landing this craft.
Yeah. That's a nice landing today.
Yeah.
It's a nice landing.
Nice and,
Yeah.
you know, no need to get worked up about it.
No. And those ebbs and flows, they just kind of wash over.
You know, so welcome to the last week, the last weekend of February. And we just hope that you can enjoy the week that you have to come. I mean, we're breaking all kinds of records here.
We are.
Yep. Well, we're able to because of our alien spacecraft.
Right.
And so the next time you see lights in the sky, just say hello to Phil and Steve, because that'll be us flying overhead.
We've got the invitation that's just out there.
That's what really happened.
It's time for them to send it.
In my abduction, they actually
They were preparing you.
well, what really happened is I thought I was buying an old Jeep.
Yeah.
What they really did is gave me the keys to their spaceship.
There we go. That's what you negotiated.
It wasn't really a negotiation. I mean, they're just a very giving being.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's good news.
I mean, continuing the major theme that happens either through automated intelligence or, you know, I mean, like many of the other things who find that humans are really going to end up destroying themselves.
Right.
You know, and as they handed me the keys, they're like, hey, just remember, use this as a way to bring peace and love.
Don't mess it up.
And whether you're going around the earth or you're flying in a straight line and then you drop down and fly in a straight line back, you know, I mean, if it's flat, doesn't mean it's not multidimensional, you know, so.
All right. So we'll see you in the skies.
Yeah, unless we're floating in our boat. I mean, and it's still the spaceship. Right. The mothership.
The mothership.
Engaged from Mother Earth. Everybody's going to be like, you guys are so whacked out.
Yeah.
And for the record, there was no LSD, marijuana, heroin, or cocaine consumed prior to, during, or after this episode.
Right. Or as they call them, illicit drugs. We definitely had some drugs, like caffeine.
Yeah.
Sugar. Something.
I haven't had sugar today yet.
No, I was going to say, I was going back to it. I'm like, yeah, maybe I haven't either.
Well, don't see. I only.
But I have had caffeine.
I only believe part of what Phil's saying. You've not had sugar.
All right. All right.
Peace.
We've landed.
Out.
See you later. Enjoy your alien sightings.
And if you wonder why this is so weird, just remember it's episode 4 of season 8.
Right.
the bottom line is that should tell you 4 is a weird number.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a weird episode.
Right.
The only thing that is good that comes in 4s are the legs of the chair you're sitting on.
And this is the season that goes on and on and on. Peace.